Hi there, my name is Rahul Venugopal and I'm a digital matte painter working in motion pictures and television industries. Today I'm going to talk about creating quick sci-fi concepts in Clarisse using displacement and scattering tools. The main purpose of this tutorial is to show you a method for developing sci-fi concepts inside Clarisse, which you can later, take it to Photoshop for photo bashing or kit bashing within Clarisse to further develop them. So before we jump into Clarisse, I've used this software called displacement, which is free, and you can download it from this website windmillart.net to create my displacement map. So I'm going to show you quickly how I go about that. So open up the displacement software. Alright, so it's quite self-explanatory. So if you go here, you can pick one of these. I'm just gonna go with this one here, and I'm gonna go with this big data, and I think that's what I did while I was experimenting last time, and it gave me good result. But there are plenty of other presets here, and you have a lot of option to come up with your own crazy displacement maps, like this one for example. I'm sure this will also give a good result, but for now I'm just gonna go with this one, since I know it will give me something similar to what I had before. So I'm gonna save this one. I'm not changing much, so let's save this height map. As you can see, I've already saved some of them before, so I'm gonna save this here, and if this didn't work, I'll try the other ones. So let's open up Clarisse. So in Clarisse, I'm just gonna create a cube, a simple cube, and I'm gonna set the pivot point to the ground. Nothing special there, I just prefer it that way. And gonna increase the displacement adapter span count. This will give us better displacement. It's more like subdivisions, but it's not really subdivision because it's not adding any subdivision, which is kind of cool. So your model is light. So now I'm gonna do some scatter before I do my displacement. So the reason I'm doing that is so I can see how my scatter is working, because once the displacement is applied, then we're gonna have too much things going. So I'm gonna go to my geometry, and I'm gonna create a point volume. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Delete that. Point volume. And let's increase the count. Alright, and I'm gonna play with the size here to get something similar like I have shown you in Photoshop, something like these vertical shapes. If you want to do a cityscape sort of environment, you can definitely go and create a scatter, like a point array scatter or something, but I'm just going with this one since I'm trying to get something closer what I've shown you before. So back in Clarisse, I have this. Let's have a little bit more. I think this is good. This number of points is good enough for now. So sorry. So let's do the scattering. So we have our point volume, we have our box, and I'm gonna bring up the scatterer now. And in the scatterer, I'm just gonna pick my geometry support. That is the point volume. And in the geometries, I'm gonna add my cube. Alright, here we go. So we have something similar, like a vertical structure. So we're gonna add some randomness to it by scrolling down on the scatter attributes editor. I'm gonna go with the scale, making it more vertical, and we add some variation. So as you can see, it's already looking kind of similar to what I had shown you before. I'm gonna have the position variance as well, and just to give it a little bit of volume. Oops, no, that one. So I'm imagining some sort of like a sci-fi shape here, something cluttered and buildings on top of each other, something like that. So now let's apply the displacement. So I'm gonna click on the displacement here and bring up my displacement map, new displacement map, apply. To see that displacement, I'm gonna open up my material editor here. Alright, so I see my displacement, and I'm gonna load that file which we saved before from the JS placement. So bring up a map file by tab, texture map file, and then go to file name in the path of the map file, go to desktop. It was inside this folder. So going by the date, I think it's this one. Alright, I haven't connected it to the displacement, so you don't see anything. Gonna connect it now, so it's working, as you can see. Boom, we have something. We have something really chaotic, something that's not really working, but that's alright. We should be able to make it work. Let's decrease this front value. Let's put like 0.9. Probably even lesser. So yeah, so we want to bring it down to a level where you see what's happening. So this is not bad. So I can see that these edges are getting broken, and there's a space in between. That's okay. I mean, we're gonna work on that later, but for now let's increase this a little bit so that we get a little bit more shape. Okay, that's not too bad. I think we have some shapes. And now what we can do is we can control this, this gap we have here by front offset. We can adjust the front offset. So as you can see now, it's working. I mean, there's definitely a better way to apply displacement, but I'm just doing it very roughly here because I don't really care, and in a way I want these abstract stuff happening, like all these sort of distort, like a weird distort stuff happening all around. I kind of want that because it will help me with a lot of happy accidents when I'm concepting later and during this process. So I'm not looking for a perfect geometry here. I want that randomness, so it's okay to have those weird abstract shapes. So this is not bad, as you can see, and at this stage we can, like, I suppose you can generate a few maps from the JS placement. So cycle through the other maps as well and see like which one will give you the best result. So I'm just gonna try another one. And over here it's just is nothing. Like you can always like you can try like different iterations, and it just gives you random stuff just like that. There is nothing really complicated here, and you can try even different different presets if that's what you want. So if I show you the other maps, as you can see, all of them are very similar. There's not much different. It's just different iterations. Let's try a different one. Alright, this is not bad. I kind of like that, and we can't really see it that much in the shading, so it might be good to switch to progressive rendering here and bring up the lighting. Just gonna apply environment light. So now it's a much more clear. Now you can see all these details. And when I zoom out, you can see that, and even I can go to my image view and preview it here. It will render very fast here in Clarisse. So yeah, as you can see, we're getting a lot of details here, and this could be like pipes or like all sorts of sci-fi things you could think about. So let's apply another displacement map, and because now I can see these shapes much clearer. I want to try something else. This is also interesting. So I'm getting a good variation between these high frequency details and some empty spaces. So there's like a positive and negative space, which I like. So I'm just gonna stick with this for now. So if I think it was these ones, as you can see here, there's a good separation. So now that we have this, let's get back to the 3D view. You can continue scattering if you want. You can take the scatterer and do another point array and scatter this. Or even, in this case, I'm just gonna initiate, make a instantiate this one, basically making an instance, and just gonna place them by hand, because I feel like this shape is already good enough. If I just, for a composition I'm gonna go for, if I have like a couple of them, I could probably have what I want. So I'm just gonna localize my translate, rotate and scale so that I can move them independently, rotate as well. And I'm gonna scale them. See, so I'm gonna scale it like this, then I'm gonna rotate it. Alright, I'm just gonna keep it closer. That could be one shape over there. Let's keep it together. Initiate one more time. Instantiate, not initiate. Make another instance. So this time, maybe make it smaller. So, big, then one medium, and then there's another small. So I'm trying to kind of create some variation here so that it doesn't look the same. So So you can rotate it, scale it, maybe make this one can be scaled it this way, maybe even rotate it this way. It doesn't matter, as long as it makes some sort of sense. All right, that's good enough. I should be having enough stuff for my composition hunting, if I may call that. So I'm gonna create a camera, a perspective camera, so that I can have some lensing. Go here and apply a focal length of, let's say, 80 millimeter. I'm gonna view through that camera in my layer. Where is it? Just do my perspective advanced. Nothing is happening. I choose this one. Okay, probably that camera is hidden somewhere, so I might want to view it here in the 3D view, and just, yeah, it was inside the building, so now it's fine. Now if I do that here, just to perspective advanced, right, here we go. So we have this now. We're getting something. I think this one has a weird rotation, so I might want to keep it straight. Still weird. So you want to make sure that none of these buildings are slanting, and they're all perpendicular. Otherwise it'll look weird. Yeah. So that's not bad. I can always move things around once I have my camera and composition somewhat in my mind. So I could even do it within this image view here inside the renderer. It's kind of cool. So yeah, just let's go with this one for now. I don't want to spend too much time. So these are all it's up to your own artistic sensibilities. So I'm sure you guys can come up with a better composition than me. Alright, for now I have this. That's good. So just to get some interesting lighting, I'm gonna go with the environment and change the color to something a little bit more moody. Make it dark. Yeah, that's good. So I have this sort of looking into a big high-rise building, and then there's this foreground building in the front, something like that. So I'm gonna take my light over here and apply warm color to the light. Oh, that's good. Maybe increase the exposure a little bit. That's too much. Probably one is good. I'm gonna play with the rotation to get some interesting lighting. Yeah, that's not bad. That's cool. And I'm gonna quickly throw in a let's make sure I'm in the camera view so I don't mess up my composition. So I'm gonna quickly throw in a volume box so that I get some atmosphere in there. Nothing fancy, just a big volume box here. And I'm just gonna bring down the density too. That's good. That's good. Just to get some atmosphere in there. Again, you know, play with this. Alright, so one thing I want to do is have some lights going on in here. You know, all these window lights which I had in my you know, the image I showed you in the beginning, because that will add a lot of scale and character to this image. So let's see how I go about that one. So I'm gonna create a standard material. So I'm gonna right click over here and go to new material, standard material, and in the material editor I see the shader, and the only thing I'm interested in here is the emission strength. So I'm gonna press my tab on the keyboard and type cellular noise. Okay, that brings up the cellular noise, and to see what's happening I'm gonna split this window over here and bring up my texture view so I can see what's happening in with this node. So in the UV scale I'm gonna type in 0.01. Okay, that creates this pattern. I'm gonna copy, paste, and put it back to 1, and the this was the x-axis, and this, sorry, this was, doesn't matter. Let's see what I get here. So that is horizontal and this is vertical. So y and x. So now I'm gonna combine these two by a blend, texture blend node. So texture blend here, input 1 here, 2, doesn't matter the order. So in the blending mode I'm gonna choose difference, so I get something close to a window pattern, but it's not exactly what I want. So I'm gonna apply a color correction and connect the blend to the input, and then the output of the color correction to the emission strength. And I haven't applied this, you know, this our shader to the box. I'm gonna do that now. So I'm gonna click on the box. I clicked already, and in the materials tab I'm gonna choose the standard. So that's what I get right now. So I'm gonna go back to my shader here and the color correction, and I'm gonna increase the contrast. So now you can see I'm getting these tiny little lights. And I should also increase the gamma so that I'm controlling the contrast a little bit better. It's mainly contrast, gamma, and gain. So that's not bad. Now I click on my shader. I'm going to go to the emission color, the attributes editor. I'm going to put yellow, or like orangish yellow. Yellow is fine, bright yellow. Might be good to increase the density of the fog a little bit to see what's happening. That's not bad. Now I can go back to my shader here. Was it? Yeah. And here I can control the gain. So, you know, I can pop them out a little bit if I want to. There's too much right now, definitely, so bring it down. Ideally, you just want to have a little bit so that it can establish the scale. Also, you know, it gives you a sense of, you know, perspective. That's a maximum. I'm not sure about those tiny lines. I'm gonna see if I can do anything about that here. Just to break them up a little bit. So otherwise it's, you know, a bit monotonous. You don't want that. You want a little bit of randomness to it. So let's do the same here. And you can play with this, you know, I mean, since it's all procedural, you're not losing anything. So you can always, you know, try different values and see what we get. I mean, I don't mind this for now. That's not bad at all. So, you know, we have the volume right now, the fog. That's why it's taking a bit of time to render. But, you know, let's turn off the volume for now. I'm just gonna disable it by Control D. Just gonna try a different composition now. I just want to try some dynamic composition and see what we get. So, you know, this is quite cool. Let's bring back our fog, Shift D. It's way too much now. Probably put it to 2. And you can control the lighting as well. That's cool. Again, we can go back to the materials and control the way that these lights are coming up, or even reduce these lights just here by bringing down the gain. By that way, you know, we just make them a little bit less visible if we want. Or if you want more, we can do that too. And, you know, you can always play around with different compositions and see what we get. And just by moving the camera around, we might stumble across something that is cool. You know, this is a nice shape. Could be anything, you know. So I don't even know what I'm looking at, but you know, I could imagine this is like a spaceship or whatever. You know, could be anything that could spark your imagination. And it always works with like a large scale scene. So if you're using a really long lens like 80 millimeter or 100 millimeter or 120 millimeter, it works really nice. And you can get all these large shapes. You can integrate them into a photo, or you can kit bash it on top of it, or take it to Photoshop and then do some matte painting, photo bashing, or paint over, do your concept art. So, you know, I'm just showing you different possibilities just by rotating the camera. For me, like all these angles, you know, they are something. They, you know, I could take them and do my own concepting. You know, because especially these lights, you know, they helps a lot. So I'll just finish this render. I think this is also cool. It looks like for kind of some sort of like a back, you know, back side of the a spaceship or something, or a building. I don't know. I like this high frequency of details happening here, and then there's these, you know, empty spaces here. Creates a good composition. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and it's useful for you. Check out this technique in Clarisse. I'm sure you can create amazing stuff with it. That's it for now. Bye.